Hi guys, my name is Trinh and today I am here to do a TV show review and discussion for Avatar: The Last Airbender Book 3, which is the final season of this show. If you don't know, I have already done book 1 and book 2. I'll link the playlist right up here for you guys to check it out. Like I have said, this is the final season for Avatar: The Last Airbender. Let me just say that I am very glad that they only have 3 seasons for this show. Now don't get me wrong, I love this show very much. Avatar: The Last Airbender is my favorite show of all time. The thing is, they could easily stretch this show out. They could have done more seasons for this show. The audience would be very happy about it, no doubt about that. But the thing is, if they stretched it out, it would be very hard to wrap up the show. To me, the ending of a show is very important. I want to see how the writers wrap it up, or like the creators or whatever. I want to see how they wrap up a show. And for Avatar: The Last Airbender, I think they did a really good job doing that. And also it makes sense to only do 3 seasons because the first one is water, second one is earth, and this one is fire, where Aang learns firebending. Fire is the final element that Aang has to learn before defeating the Fire Lord before Sozin's Comet. But not just that, in this season we have the invasion, we have the finale, the epic finale at the end. Book 3 is so good. I think it has to be my favorite season for Avatar: The Last Airbender. For the longest time, I have always said either book 2 or book 3. I'm always conflicted. I don't know which one is my favorite. But now that I'm rewatching this show, like really paying attention to everything, book 3 is my favorite, definitely. Believe it or not, I finished this season in like 5 or 6 days. Usually it takes me like 2 days to finish like 1 season of Avatar, but you know, I stretched it out because I don't want to finish it too quickly. So yeah, it did take me a while, but I finished it just last night. I was crying so much. If you have not watched this show, you are missing out. This is such a good show. Do not watch the movie, The Last Airbender movie. It's shit. I didn't even watch it and I know that it's really bad. Watch the show. It is so damn good. There's only 3 seasons and each episode is only like 20 minutes long, so you can literally finish this entire show in like 1 week if you can. So overall, I give book 3 an A++ if I can. So if you have not watched this show, you are missing out so much. I didn't really tell you much about the synopsis, mostly because it's the final season. If I do tell you a lot, I might spoil you. Just go watch the show. Oh my god, if you have not done it, just do it, alright? But if you have watched the show, stay so we can discuss book 3, because this is, like I said, the final season in Avatar: The Last Airbender. We're gonna talk about everything that happened in this book. Let's start right now with the character development. So first, let's start with Aang, who is the Avatar, obviously. He has grown a lot since the very first episode. I mean, the first episode of this show was called The Boy in the Iceberg, and the last episode of this show is called Avatar Aang. And it kind of shows you how much Aang has grown from like a goofy little kid to a fully realized Avatar. I love the last episode so much. I mean, like, it's pretty damn epic, but also, like I said, the last episode is called Avatar Aang, and every time I see the title on the big screen, it makes me so emotional because, like, you know, we have come full circle. Like, we finally acknowledge Aang for who he is, the Avatar, Avatar Aang. We have never really called him Avatar Aang. We always call him the Avatar or just Aang. We never combined the names together. Zuko! Oh my god, the best character development like ever. He started out as a villain but ends up as one of the heroes. We will talk more about this later, definitely. Like in the episode The Invasion, we will talk more about Zuko. But let's talk about Sokka, because not many people talk about his character development. Whenever we talk about character development in Avatar, we always talk about Zuko because it's the most obvious one. But Sokka, he also has a really great character development. Like in the very beginning, he was so sexist. He always makes snide comments to Katara and the Kyoshi warriors. But also we learned that he doesn't even know if he's worthy or not in the episode Sokka's Master. But at the end, he grows out of it, of that sexist mentality, and becomes a very brave leader. Like at the end of the Earth King episode in book 2, he spoke highly of the Kyoshi warriors. And in season 3, he comes up with the invasion plan, the submarines and everything like that. And also in the Boiling Rocks episode, he rescues his dad and Suki from the prison. He and Zuko did that, of course, but Sokka was the one who came up with the plan. To wrap it up, Sokka is so smart. Like, he is incredibly smart. Now for Katara, I feel like not much happens to her when it comes to character development. The one thing I do notice is that she has become a very powerful, one of the best waterbenders out there, definitely. In the beginning, she wasn't very good at waterbending, and that's totally understandable because she was the last waterbender in the Southern Water Tribe. But then at the end, you see that she is like a fantastic waterbender. And then also for Toph, not much as well. She's always been amazing at earthbending. But then also in book 2, she invented metal bending. And that's basically it. Like, nothing much has changed for her. Suki, nothing much either, because we finally see her in the Rolling Rocks episode. Azula, on the other hand, she's manipulative in, you know, the beginning of the season 3. But then towards the end of the season, after the people around her leave her, she starts to lose it. You can totally see that. Like, she sees visions of her mom. She's like banishing people. After realizing that her manipulation doesn't work on like Tylee or May, she starts to lose it. And then for May, we learn that she grew up in a controlling household. It's to the point that she suppresses her emotions. She's pretty dull and bland, but then we kind of find out that it's because of her parents. But then at the end, she betrays Azula to save Zuko. So even though she's like a boring person, she does have emotions. She does care about people. And then Tylee, we also learned that she joined a circus because she felt like she didn't have an identity. And at the end, she also betrays Azula. Now that was a huge surprise to me when I first watched the show like years ago. I was so shocked when she, you know, blocked Azula's chi. That was a plot twist. Alright, let's talk about, you know, the season and what happened in the beginning. So Aang is awake and alive. If you don't remember, in book 2, the very last episode, he was shot by Azula and he was about to die too. So that was like horrifying. So now he's awake, he's alive, but he feels guilty for letting the Earth Kingdom down. And also the whole world thinks he's dead. And now back to the Fire Nation. Azula tells Ozai that Zuko killed the Avatar. This is another scene where she manipulates him again. It's literally the first episode of season 3 and she already manipulates him. She knows Aang probably survived and wants to put the blame on Zuko if he is alive. Honestly, that's like a pretty smart strategy. It's kind of fucked up because, you know, they're siblings and she's playing with him like that, but at the same time, it's pretty smart. So the beach episode is one of my favorite episodes because it's really entertaining, it's really funny, but it's also quite deep. Zuko, Azula, May, and Telly go to Ember Island. Azula cannot flirt. It's like amusing at this point. We see that Tally always gets the boys' attention, but then also we see that Zuko is just very angry. Like in like the second episode, we see that he's also angry. He goes to Iroh and asks him like what to do because he's so confused. But here's the thing, in this episode, Zuko acts like a controlling boyfriend and I don't like that. That's very harmful. Even though I do love Zuko very much, he is one of my favorite characters. In this episode, I don't like the way he's acting when it comes to May. He is literally threatening the boys to not talk to May, his girlfriend. But the thing is, that's wrong. That's toxic. That's controlling. And May, I'm so glad that May does not put up with that because I would have thrown him across the room. And then at the end, we learn about all of the characters. We learn about May and Tylee and Azula and Zuko. I like how we can still empathize with them because deep down, they're still teenagers. It's not like they're the bad guys, so we just don't like them, that kind of thing. Like, no, we learn about their stories and how it's pretty relatable to us. So the episode, The Avatar and the Fire Lord. This is also one of my favorite episodes because we learn about the backstory of Roku and Sozin. We learn that they were best friends when they were young. I love seeing Roku as a fully realized avatar. Too bad Sozin stepped out of line and tried to conquer the Earth Kingdom. Now, the scene where Roku is trying to like battle against a volcano, like why doesn't he just leave? Why is he trying to, you know, stop the volcano? Like just leave, evacuate like everyone did. So at the end, Sozin, you know, comes to help him, but then turns out he betrayed him at the end anyway. So like that was like a really stab in the back kind of scene because they were best friends. But not just that, they were like almost brothers. Like they had the same birthday and everything and they were really close, and it's just really sad how their friendship went downhill really quickly. But then also another scene that made me gasp so loud when I first watched this show, when we learned that Zuko's great grandfather from his mom's side is Avatar Roku. That was a huge like, what the fuck? fuck? Now that like I'm older, rewatching it, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of obvious. But when I was young, I did not see that coming. I was like, what? He's related to both Sozin and Roku? I do love that scene where Iroh tells him that Zuko's great-grandfather is actually also Avatar Roku. That was a really great scene in my opinion. But then we're also introduced to this man. We call him the Combustion Man. So we learn that Zuko sends him to kill Aang. He shoots fire out of his brain. That's crazy. But then at the end of the episode, the Western Air Temple, he dies. In a way, he accidentally kills himself in that episode. So bloodbending, we're also introduced to a sub-skill when it comes to waterbending called bloodbending. Now, as the name suggests, it's basically controlling the water inside another person's body. So basically, you're like controlling them as like a puppet, and it's really creepy. It's one of the most creepiest episodes. We learned that Hama was the last waterbender in the Southern Water Tribe, you know, back in her days. But she was taken by the Fire Nation. She escaped using bloodbending. But then now that she is older, like really old, you see that she's pretty evil and cruel. This war really shaped her in a really negative way. It made her really bitter. She uses bloodbending to take people away, and then at the end of the episode, Katara becomes a bloodbender. Alright, so then afterward, we finally get the invasion scene. What's it called? Day of the Black Sun or something like that? 2 episodes of this, you know, the invasion plan. It's just those episodes are really great, but at the same time, they're disappointing. Not because it's bad, but because the gang really thought that they're going to win this war, that they're finally going to defeat the Fire Lord, but then at the end, it didn't happen that way. So everyone is getting ready for the invasion. Too bad Azula already knows about this plan since like book 2. Remember like the what's it called? The Guru episode, I believe? Like, the Earth King's just like, yeah, we're planning an invasion to attack the Fire Nation. He said that to the Kyoshi warriors, but really, it's Azula. And then the Dali agents are just bad. I mean, like, they used to work for the Earth King, but, you know, they're pretty corrupt, so they didn't really work for the Earth King, and now they're working for Azula, who is from the Fire Nation. Like I said, this episode is disappointing because we know that Azula has known about this plan for a really long time, and the gang walks right into a trap. They really thought they were going to win and put an end to this war, but then at the end of the episode, the adults have to stay behind to surrender. Hakoda being separated from Sokka and Katara, honestly, always makes me cry. And Aang crying at the end of the episode always breaks my heart because he's letting the war down again. This is the second time. The first time is Ba Sing Se. The second time is the invasion. But then also, we get to see Zuko confronting Ozai during this invasion thing. And that is so important. We need to see that scene where Zuko confronts his own dad for what he has done. And it's true that Ozai giving Zuko a scar, you know, a burn scar on his fucking face. That is child abuse. First of all, it happened when Zuko's like 13. There's no way you can justify that. There's no way you can say that that is to teach you a lesson. It doesn't. It's just straight up abuse. I mean, this is coming from a guy who was planning to kill Zuko when Zuko was young. Remember when Azula told him to kill Zuko as like a punishment? Yeah, he was about to do that. He doesn't give a shit about Zuko. I also love when Zuko tells him that, you know, everyone hates the Fire Nation because it's true. Like, Zuko witnesses that firsthand in Zuko alone. Everyone around him, when they found out that he's like the son of the Fire Lord too, they hated him because he's from the Fire Nation. It's just simple as that. If you're from the Fire Nation, people just hate you immediately because the Fire Nation started the war. After learning the plan to destroy the Earth Kingdom using Sozin's comet, Zuko finally realizes that this isn't what he wanted. Also, it's important for him to realize that his family is abusive, manipulative, evil, cruel, all of those horrible adjectives. It's so important for him to realize that and just to step away from it and be like, you know what? I don't agree with this. And the only person who's really there for him, who's like a father to Zuko, is Iroh. Since the very beginning, Iroh has always been there for Zuko. But not just that, when he says that he's joining, you know, the Avatar to help defeat the Fire Lord and stuff like that, it just tears in my eyes every time. Another great scene is Zuko redirecting lightning. That was amazing. My god, Zuko looked so hot when he was doing it. And honestly, I really wish we see the scene where Iroh breaks out of prison. Like that could have been really great. It's kind of like a mystery. I mean, we see like a huge hole in his prison cell. So Zuko joins the gang. Eventually they accept him into the group. And then we have episodes for Zuko and each member of the gang except Toph. Mostly because Toph and Zuko didn't really have an antagonistic relationship, I guess. And honestly, the show gets so much better after Zuko joins Team Avatar. I also love that Sokka, Toph, and Katara reassure Zuko that Iroh will forgive him, because whenever Zuko talks about Iroh, he feels guilty for betraying him. I love the firebending Masters episode very much, because this is the first time we see Aang and Zuko working together and helping each other. Besides the Blue Spirit episode, we also learned that the dragons are on the brink of extinction. There are literally only 2 dragons left. I was like, you know what, so it's like pretty horrible. Like first the air nomads, waterbenders, now the dragons. Like this war really has left a huge damage to this world. And then we have the Boiling Rocks episodes. This is so good. It's just Zuko and Sokka at this like Fire Nation prison. The plan is to go there to rescue Sokka's dad. But then we learn that Suki is there too. So, you know, we're gonna rescue her. But then eventually Hakoda gets there and then, you know, we also rescue him. The fight at the end is just good. Mostly because we don't really know what's gonna happen. But then when they said, cut the line, I was panicking so hard. I was like, oh my god. But like the fact that Azula, the Fire Nation princess, is on the gondola and they're like, fuck it, we're just gonna cut the line. Dude, what happened if like Azula dies? Like they're gonna get fired. And then at the end, May and Ty Lee both betray Azula. That was huge. When May says, I love Zuko more than I fear you, that was a great line. Like a fantastic line said by someone who's dull. And then we get the Southern Raiders episode. The fight in the beginning of the episode is pretty awesome. So Zuko and Katara is tracking down the killer, the one who killed her mom, Kaya. I love seeing Zuko and Katara working together. I think they make a pretty fantastic team. Kaya died to protect Katara, who is the last waterbender in the Southern Water Tribe at that time. Honestly, I think Hama, the bloodbender, you know, that weird bitter ass woman, I think she was the one who got Kaya killed. Not directly, but also it's mostly her fault. The Fire Nation has learned that waterbenders are powerful because they can bloodbend. So to eliminate the problem of having bloodbenders, they just eliminate the waterbenders altogether. So the episode before Sozin's comedy, Ember Island Player, I love that episode. Another episode that I love very much is an episode that recaps the entire show, but instead they do it through a play, and then they also have the gang watching the play and reacting to the play. It's just really great and really clever. So Sozin's Comet, this epic finale that has 4 episodes. 4. The first one is the Phoenix King, the second one is the Old Masters, third one is Into the Inferno, and then fourth one is Avatar Aang. The fact that I know this by memory. We see Aang struggles with the fact that he has to kill the Fire Lord. He doesn't want to do it. Aang really does not want to kill the Fire Lord, even though the Fire Lord is very evil. I think he doesn't want to kill the Fire Lord because he's the last airbender, and refusing to kill people is part of the air nomad's culture. But the past avatars tell him that he has to do it in order to save the world and end this war once and for all. He has to kill the Fire Lord. So after Aang runs away, the gang has to find Iroh, you know, another alternative. I forgot how amazing it is to see the old masters again, to see Paku, to see Boomy, to see Sokka's master, whose name I forgot, Piandao, I believe, and also John. Damn, I forgot his name. I cry every fucking time Iroh hugs Zuko. That scene, Iroh hugging Zuko, I cry every time because it's one of the most emotional scenes ever. It's one of the best scenes in this entire show. Alright, so this comment has finally come. And we get 3 different scenes, I guess. So we have Toph, Sokka, and Suki trying to fight the airships. We have Zuko and Katara going to the Fire Nation to fight Azula, and then we have Aang fighting the Fire Lord. For Toph, Sokka, and Suki, nothing much happened. Like, they defeat the airships and all that stuff. That scene where, like, we thought that they were gonna fucking die, I was so emotional. I was like, oh my god, is this gonna happen? But then no, everything is fine. They all survive. So Zuko and Azula battle in an Agni Kai. Why did Katara think it was a good idea to come out of hiding when Azula was conjuring lightning. Why? I want to know why. Like, girl, you're not a firebender. You would have been screwed. Now, I don't want to blame Katara for the fact that Zuko got shot by lightning, but I kind of want to. But then, of course, she beats Azula, and then thank God Zuko's alive, because I would have like canceled the show if Zuko dies. So then finally we see Aang fighting the Fire Lord. We all know that this scene is gonna come since the very beginning. That's why Aang is learning the elements. That's why he has to master the Avatar State to prepare for this battle that will end this war. The scene where he's about to redirect lightning is intense because he has to make a quick decision to kill the Fire Lord or to not kill him, and he chooses not to kill him. But when Aang is in the Avatar State, oh shit. Oh fucking shit. It is such a good scene because number one, it's been so long since we have seen him in the Avatar State. Remember, his chi is blocked or something like, no, his chakra is blocked, I believe. The scene where he uses the elements to create like a solar system around him was so good. It's, oh my god, the music is great, imagery is great. It's just good, man. And then at the end, Aang defeats the Fire Lord by taking his bending away. And that's important because Aang ends the war on his own term. He doesn't have to kill the Fire Lord at the end. Instead, he just takes his bending away. Real quick, I just want to talk that the scene where Iroh burns out the Fire Nation flag is pretty damn great. Iroh is like related to Sozin. Remember that. Iroh is also part of like the royal family. Sometimes I forget about that, to be honest. Iroh is like, fuck this. I'm gonna burn this flag down. I hate this so much. I hate this war for what it has done. And then yeah, the show ends, finale ends, just good shit, man. Even the music at the very end is also good, man. The scene where Zuko says this war has finally come to an end, tears in my eyes the entire time, and everyone's cheering because finally this 100-year war is over. It's finally fucking over. Oh, what a good finale, honestly. I'm about to cry, damn it. So that is it for book 3 of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I will rewatch Legend of Korra, but I'm gonna take a break, like a week-long break. I have been recording for literally an hour, so my throat is dry, the sun is going down, and I have a dinner that I need to go to with my friends. So there's that. That is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye!